Imagine waking up to headlines that shake the entire country. Reform UK wins the general election. The same party once dismissed as fringe, too extreme, too loud, suddenly holding the keys to number 10. And this is exactly what's taking place now. For years, Britain has been heading straight toward this moment. Nigel Farage is set to be on stage with that familiar smirk, soaking in the moment, while the political establishment stands stunned, almost paralyzed, as the system they built collapses overnight. Reform UK didn't appear out of nowhere. Its roots stretch back to the Brexit Party, launched in 2019 to pressure Westminster into delivering Brexit. Once Britain left the EU, the party rebranded into Reform UK, promising not just Brexit, but a complete shake-up of politics. They claim to represent the people ignored by elites, the working-class voters tired of broken promises, and the patriots who felt their voices drowned out by globalism. Nigel Farage has been the central figure in this story. He's been called everything from a political genius to a dangerous agitator. But what cannot be denied is his persistence. For decades, he hammered the same issues: immigration, sovereignty, and the failures of mainstream parties, until people started listening. Reform UK became a vessel for those frustrations, and little by little, it grew from an outsiders movement to a party millions began to take seriously. And let's be honest, modern Britain is fertile ground for that message. The Conservatives, once seen as the party of stability, are plagued by scandal, weak leadership, and constant infighting. Labour, despite promising change, is still viewed as out of touch with many working-class communities that once supported it. People feel let down, not just by one government, but by decades of political failure. At the centre of it all is immigration. The debate dominates headlines. From asylum hotels filling up to constant coverage of small boats crossing the channel, the narrative of losing control fuels voter anger. Reform UK thrives in this climate, promising something clear and simple. We'll stop the boats. We'll deport illegal migrants. We'll take Britain back. It's a message that cuts through noise because it's blunt, unapologetic, and taps directly into fear. This isn't just theory. Polls already show reform gaining support at an astonishing pace. Communities that once stood firmly with Labour or the Conservatives are shifting. In working-class towns, rural areas, and coastal communities, voters are increasingly drawn to reform's tough talk. And the more chaotic the headlines become, the stronger the party grows. That's why it no longer feels like a question of if Reform UK rises. It feels like when. With the local elections approaching and the general election set for 2029, it's not hard to imagine reform in power. Seat after seat falls their way. Labour strongholds crumble. Conservative safe seats collapse. By midnight, the UK political map glows with reform's colours, and Nigel Farage emerges as the face of Britain's new government. Once in power, reform won't wait to act. Their most controversial promise, the deportation blitz, will become law almost immediately. Borders will be fortified overnight. The military will patrol the channel. Drones will scan the skies, and police will be given new powers to root out overstayers. The message will be clear: Britain is closed, and then will come the raids. At dawn, immigration vans will descend on flats and factories. Families will be separated. Entire communities will live in fear as parents are taken away in front of children. The images will flood social media. Crying children, furious activists, supporters cheering. For some, it will look like justice finally served. For others, it will look like cruelty turned into policy. The government would implement its detention plan immediately, but they'll overflow within weeks. Conditions will spiral, and shocking leaks will show migrants crammed into overcrowded facilities. Human rights groups will rage. Protesters will flood the streets, chanting against reform's policies. Outside Parliament, thousands will gather, clashing with riot police. At first, demonstrations will be peaceful, but tensions will rise fast. Smoke will fill the air as police and protesters clash. Viral videos will circulate, tear gas clouds, riot shields, angry chants echoing through London. Far-right groups will march to defend reform's agenda, while far-left activists will hit back harder. Streets in Manchester, Birmingham and Liverpool will become flashpoints of violence. The divide will no longer be political, it will be physical. By now, Britain will feel like two different countries. Reform supporters will rally in the streets, waving Union Jacks, praising the government for taking Britain back. Meanwhile, minority communities, activists, and ordinary citizens horrified by the chaos will march in opposition. The protests will grow louder, angrier, and more violent. Night after night, Parliament Square will turn into a war zone. Police sirens will echo through London. Protest fires will light up the streets. Social media will frame it as civil war energy. And this isn't just speculation. It's the natural outcome of a society split in half. Each side convinced the other is destroying the nation. And then the world will weigh in. The EU will condemn Britain, accusing it of breaking international law. The UN will hold emergency sessions, warning of a humanitarian crisis. NGOs will share damning reports of overcrowded detention centres. Britain's reputation, once tied to democracy, law and human rights, will be shredded. The economic backlash will be just as severe. Investors will pull out, the pound will slide, tourism will collapse, trade deals will stall, and whispers of sanctions will begin in European capitals. Reform UK will want to prove that Britain is strong, but instead, the country will look isolated, cornered, and cut off. Global Britain will become lonely Britain. So what will all this mean? For reform supporters, this will be the rebirth of Britain, a government finally standing up for its people, no matter how messy the process. For critics, it will be the collapse of everything Britain once stood for. Its stability, its economy, its reputation abroad. One thing will be certain. Britain will never go back to the way it was before. The reform era will mark a new chapter. Whether that chapter is remembered as salvation or collapse will depend on which side of the divide you stand on. So what do you think? If Reform UK wins the next election, will they save Britain or will they tear it apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns into the politics shaping our world.